Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome to an episode of Sitting Down with Soul Writer 2022 edition. Thank you so much for your patience while I took what you'll find out is a no-shame break here the last couple weeks to get me screwed back on straight again. So this is kind of another mental health update video, but I've got some other surprises for you along the way. We're going to be looking at, maybe 6 tips for indie Authortuber land. Wait a minute. That's very niche. We'll cover it all here in a second. Hold your britches. We're going to get it. Okay? First of all, right off the top, definitely in this video is one I'm going to want to say to you. Take care of yourself a little bit better each and every day. If anyone else knows you're worth it, it's me. Because if I'm saying it to you, maybe I need to hear it too. Let's rock it. Welcome back, my lovelies. It's really good to see you. Let's see if we can struggle bust through this. 6 tips for surviving anxiety as an indie Authortuber. Many of you are like, wait a minute, you said before the break we were going to clarify this. Hold on, hold up. Stop, soul writer. If we're sitting down here, you got to be a little bit more clear. Indie Authortuber, aren't you being really niche? Actually, no. I'm trying to be umbrella term inclusive. This is really good information for any type of author. I think especially if you're being an indie author, because we struggle to feel like we have a support system behind us a lot of the time, methinks. And definitely the same applies to those of us in Authortuber land because, well, YouTube is vicious sometimes, and you gotta know when to not let it get you down. Tip number 1. Therefore, know your limits and when to seek help or input from others. Oh my goodness, this is something that is vital. Vital! Does not even begin to describe it. When I say know your limits, I'm talking about a couple of different limits here, my lovelies, to be fair. Okay, first and foremost, we are definitely talking about knowing your financial limits as far as what can I pay for per month. Do I have to stick with the freebie mode? Can I collab with someone and us split the costs as far as running it and the profits? Things of that nature. Especially if you're looking to run multiple channels or open multiple books or maybe even do multiple collabs or whatever. You got to know your limits as far as your financial investment goes. True, but you need to know what your physical investment is. What can you do in your corporeal existence with the time that the divine is giving you to work with? Because let's get real. Unfortunately, not all of us who are indie authors, not all of us who are Authortubers are able to call this our full-time job. For those who have the ability, the situation, or whatever to be able to do their author journey full-time from home without needing a second salary, it's going to be a different journey for them. We'll get into that here more in a second about your journeys being different. But as someone who has to work a full-time job, you gotta know, okay, what are my limits around what I have to do and the cards that I was dealt with my life, okay? I teach full-time, 40 hours a week. Literally, my boss is, if you're on the clock at 40 hours, I don't care what you're doing on Friday, bye-bye, you're done. Little bit of feedback. Most of my students do school Monday through Thursday, okay? And paperwork / homework day is Friday for everybody. Meetings happen on Friday. And again, it's virtual. I teach right from the same space you see here. The same backdrop you see there is what my students see in class. Yes, it could get me in trouble as far as them discovering me. No, I don't think they're going to find out about me anytime soon. So I'll take the chance a little bit longer, given we live where we live and I only have this corner to work with in the house, right? So, know your limits. For me, I have to run the 2 careers in the same space. For me, I have to have the full-time job in order to do this, to afford to do this. So, therefore, know your time investment, know what your stressors can let you handle, okay? And know when to seek help and input. I think as an indie author and even as an author tuber, this might be true maybe with trad and hybrid authors. I'm not sure because most of the people I talk with on the daily are more indie minded. So coming from that mindset, it feels like some of us are afraid to, just admit we need help. I know I'm struggling a great deal right now to break away from OBS and just use StreamYard for everything because I'm struggling to learn StreamYard. I know marketing is my weak point as an indie author, so on and so forth. Know your limits. And I'm finally accepting that I need to learn to speak up for that help and input. I'm also here to admit, if you want me to help, I'm the incredible missing friend, but I'm always here when you call on me. I wish I had my Golden Girls Squad goals shirt on. Rest in peace, Betty. Thank God you're with your girls at last. So, next tip. Your path, your process, your way. I mentioned this earlier, and this kind of echoes some of the things we talk about over on my other series, Listening to the Voices in Our Heads. Every process as far as writing goes is a little bit different. No two authors write the same way, and trust me, I'm an English teacher by day. I teach young writers by day. Yes, they all have different processes and are definitely all on different levels of their writing journey, and that's okay. That's a-okay. No problem with that whatsoever, in my opinion. So don't be afraid to carry that over into other areas of your author existence. Just because you market some way different from someone, it's okay. Just because you run your channel different from someone, it's okay. Be sure you don't step on toes in the process of doing your path, your process, your way, though. So, on to our next tip. Therefore, be self-aware of your biases and your ethics. Both your good and bad biases and your good and bad ethics. Yes, you can have some good biases. Here's a good bias. I don't want my kid around X person because they are currently in trouble over blank, but I will reserve judgment on them in the future. I hear that statement a lot as a teacher, as far as I don't want my kid around this kid because this kid is going through addiction withdrawals. They can start hanging out if that kid, improvement behaves, they were friends outside of school, whatever. Note to you, hydrate yourself. Really good tea, by the way. So, as far as your ethics go, someone's not necessarily going to do the exact same things on your channel that you would your way. I have been known to get myself in trouble in trying to learn the difference, how to expect others to run their channel. Is this a channel to channel ethic guideline versus is this everyone in YouTube really should do it this way? I'm learning those nuances. It's hard. A year in, I'm really starting to, see the nuances of positive biases, positive ethics, and, what do and don't you want to do on your channel your way is really starting to make me go, am I running this channel right? And that's why I got hung up making this video so much, which was kind of weird. I'm doing a video about surviving anxiety and literally gave myself a panic attack over doing it. So this is kind of where I think I got hung up, was I'm curious to learn so much, but was I not being self-aware in my learning process? And to anyone's toes I stepped on, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm learning. I'm curious. I'm a Virgo. I crave knowledge. Why do you think Nefteri is a vampire with a dragon mind, basically? Anyway, so next tip. Articulating the self, therefore, is not easy. Apologize, reflect, and move on. This seems so simple. It's not as easy as it seems on paper. And a lot of us whom have anxiety know that articulating face-to-face articulating in writing, in everything, can shut down on you when you're hung up in that reflection mode, okay? For me, I come off as crass when I'm in that mode, but really, I'm not angry at others, I realized. I'm really angry at me because of failure to articulate. I'm struggling to articulate, but at the same time, I'm just making other people angrier. And it's not easy. So you just have to sometimes accept that you can't get hung up in the reflection phase. Okay? You gotta learn to move on from the mistakes once you've learned from them, and that's the hump I've been in for a while now, apparently. So, to those of you who are also there, you've got this. I believe in you. Tip number 5, know when to take a no shame break. And this is what I'm starting to call them for a couple of reasons. I get really down on myself when I can't keep up with all the things going on. You know, I teach full time. I'm trying to get a book bash together. I'm doing a virtual tour for book 1. I'm planning this thing and that thing and this thing and the third thing and the fourth thing. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It's the end of the day. And A, I have not made any YouTube content, nor B, have I actually drafted anything to that pesky book that's supposed to be coming out in June. What am I going to do? I'm wasting time. So know when to take a no shame break, to pull back and just look at the greater tapestry. I thought I did enough of that during the holiday break. Apparently I didn't, and apparently staying on a paper planner is never going to work for me trying to balance all the things. Self-awareness revealed that I need to pivot. So take a no shame break. Don't hate on yourself. It's not a weakness. You are okay. You need to take care of this person first. Not all that out there. Okay? Take a no shame break when you need it. Above all. So that way, you're able to then plan ahead and realize you need to be flexible. For our final tip, I think this one is going to be the most impactful for everybody. I will admit, my best laid plans, when they're super specific, tend to go awry. And being flexible is a must. Pivot, bob and weave. Yeah, it's harder to do it with anxiety, but find ways to check your biases, your ethics, keep your process your way, and just breathe through it. But don't forget to take those baby steps and plan ahead. Be flexible, okay? I know this seems really rambly, and the more I thought about doing this video and the more times I re-recorded it, the more I was like, you know what? These 6 tips seem super simple. I know they're not easy. Most of all, take your time. Take care of yourself. We all know you're worth it. Much love, my lovelies. Bye.